Let's try to squeeze in some more fixes. WebXR error if no WebXR. Okay, that comes from the XR Manager, which does some stuff here. Let's see this. Okay, I believe this line has a try catch around it. So it does try catch right in the enable WebXR experience. Who calls enable WebXR experience? Scene Manager. Await this XR Manager. And so I guess this just says WebXR not exported, and so doesn't do anything, right? Error initializing XR, WebXR not available. Didn't get here. WebXR is not supported. Create camera, enable WebXR experience, line 17 or line 20. I think maybe because this is in a await, so this thing fires in the background. Await. I'm not sure. Async this thing try, but it doesn't seem like it successfully trapped it. Maybe it was just caught anyway, and it still did the console logs. This one is from Teleportation Manager, line 36. Okay, Okay, so it proceeded to this line. Teleportation Manager is expecting this thing to be populated on XR helper. So we should maybe check to see if it's available and then not do the thing. So Babylon JS XR. If navigator, if polyfill. Navigator XR. Find here, but over here. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's remove this try. This one. Catch. And okay, so this is called by the camera or whatever. Enable WebXR experience. Set it up. New camera. Initialize the controller. Do all that kind of stuff. This is called by scene manager, who calls set up emit camera move. Calls that itself. Calls init controller, probably itself. Okay, so the rest of them are just called by itself inside enable stuff, right? Okay. I think we can just do if navigator XR turn. So on this side it's fine. And on this side, it doesn't attempt to have that. Okay. I'm gonna say this is done. Next up, after unmuting, menu should say mute and go back to when you've actually published the status. So, this one's a tricky one because we are microphone on. We're not going to connect, so it's going to look weird if I say unmute, and that says ... We want it to say mute, but it's kind of have to say, it needs to say two things. You're not actually live because there's no one else to receive your thing. So how do we express that? So let me go back to the WebRTC Manager. Take a look at these states. Okay, so we don't actually have a state in here. We have a state in the menu manager. Do menu manager has a state up here. So menu is opened. The menu, close the menu. Microphone on, off, internal state, and the label, which is mute, unmute, transitioning, What if there is another state that you use for, okay, so you unmute, you muted, but you're not quite live yet. So mute and maybe, so I guess it could be mute like this. No, or mute. That means you're live. Versus so we could listen to what could menu manager listen to? Menu manager could listen to, and where's the hierarchy of this menu? Who creates menu manager? Menu manager is created by scene manager, right? Let's do this. New menu manager created by scene manager. So we have an orchestrator, and the scene is probably available. And scene manager, new scene manager is created by orchestrator right away. And member manager, WebRTC Manager is created afterwards. And so what do we need? We need to know if I'm going to listen to I think we should listen to something as signalHub. What can we listen to here? We can say I guess whether they're we're publishing or not, right? But this is an event, and we want a kind of observable, so that should go in from the WebRTC Manager. And who creates the WebRTC Manager? created by orchestrator after the menu manager. This is okay. So this might not exist. WebRTC Manager, does it have any dependencies on scene or anything? Well, it has a dependency on menu manager, which has a dependency on scene manager. But this doesn't set up WebRTC events. We do this after all of this is connected. We can have this, and then here you can join and leave. So join, and if we're not publishing audio, then we should publish audio. If this publishing audio value, get value. If it's false, then this WebRTC client and what? We're not publishing audio and we need to. So I feel like we need the state in here. WebRTC Manager should have should have mic on and off in here as a signal. So it's like public mic preference, and here is a behavior subject of, let's just say mic muted or not. Mic muted, and say that's a Boolean, and this mic muted behavior subject is true to start off with. So then we could check if this mic muted get value. If your mic is not muted, then do publish audio. what does this do? Publish audio. We'll check if this joined. Await this join promise. What is this join promise thing? Okay, so publish audio. If there's not local track. Okay, but so you won't publish twice. Good. So yeah. Otherwise, leave. And if you leave, you'll automatically unpublish everything. But you also need to let yourself know. So this is a promise? Yes. So await. This, and then I say this. Publishing audio. Next is true. Otherwise, you get this. Await this. Then this publishing audio. Next is false. So with these states in here like this, you probably want to tie into it WebRTC Manager is created by orchestrator right after member manager. But before menu manager. So we can do menu manager. So that is part of the problem with having some of these signals inside the classes, because then you have these dependencies of which one was instantiated first. So with signalHub, this hub is instantiated before everyone, so it's just available. The problem with signalHub is that we should have maybe local and then one for channel. One for hands, one for camera, one for XR. That's a big change. And one for yeah, let's do it. signalHub is a type of signalHub. So type signalHub. It has local events. Local is pretty generic. How about local? Will be emitter of events, which is one of these things. And incoming from a channel will be something else, and outgoing will be something else. So we have this. It's a type of signalHub, and it will be local. This. We're missing the following properties. Let's call it an interface. Alright, so now every use of a signalHub dot something should change to signalHub dot local dot. Oops. Okay, commit fix WebXR not found error and work in progress. Alright, so if we do this, 46 occurrences, replace all those. Okay, now what? Okay, I think it still works. And so what was the point of doing all that? Well, it sets the stage up for being able to separate some of these things that are not local events. Like menu is definitely local events. It doesn't go out, it doesn't come in from, say, broker. And so we need a microphone. So for a local event, the attempt is to use fewer channel this and that, because the making of the channel It just may not be ready. Because even if you have channel off of objects, the order in which you create these objects, which depends on scene and this and that. Channel on or channel push. So we're doing a channel push on member state changed. There should be more than one channel push. How about forward camera movement? Forward camera movement. What does that do? Local on camera move. It does. Okay, this space channel push. Member manager, channel. We have the channel. Why are we listening to the channel? Because we have present state. So let's call that incoming. So we can go to signalHub. And we can make type incoming events. Let's say that these are local events. Local events. Local events. Local events. Say we have incoming events. So we have space channels connected, and spaces API. Not even this. This is still a, incoming events is really presence state. And if we import types, Incoming. Okay. So let's make this the proxy for all space channels stuff. So space broker creates a space channel. Set up channel subscriptions. Okay, on local, yeah, okay, connected channel. On, no, it's the, okay, receiving space channel on. Do some stuff. That's local on, space channel on. Okay, so it was a scene manager that was really listening to all of these things. So we need to go to scene manager, and where are all of these? Set channel listeners. To signalHub and create all of these kind of events. So let's do, this one don't count, but let's say member moved, which is somebody else moved. Moved. That returns what now? Member ID and position rotation. Alright, if you say so. So you get a member ID, which is a string, position, number, rotation, number. Member moved. And you got component changed. And what about component changed? There's an entity ID, type, and data. Then entity created. Seems like we don't really care what the thing is right now. Then entity deleted, which there's at least an ID. Then there's a new member, which has a member ID and pause route. So there's the new member. Then there's presence diff, which we have already. Let's put present state next to it. And finally, space settings changed. And types, scene settings. Okay, so we get all these kind of events, are possible incoming events. We need to subscribe to them through the broker. So the broker going to the space broker, set up channel subscriptions. We'll use these again. To funnel through the correct one. So copy that, go to space broker, and we're tapping into these messages. Was I using on message before? Let's search GitHub. Git log p/dot on message. So we used to have one. Just push it like this. Typed, I don't know if it will allow me to do this. incoming. Oh, wait, it's not a, it's an emitter, so you gotta do emit. So it might not let me do this. Emit, event, and payload. So any message that's coming through on space channel, it will emit that through incoming. And therefore, I'll just subscribe like this, space, or signal hub incoming. So if the server is lost, then we'll still do that. Okay, so let's see if it still works. Alright, can't read properties of undefined reading space channel. Okay, in space broker, line 59. Oh, I wasn't done. We don't want to do this stuff in space broker because we have this. What we do want to do is modify scene manager to say you don't need a space channel now. So all of this space channel on can be changed to signalHub incoming on. And then change these to be subscribe. On message callbacks. Let's return the payload, modified or unmodified. On message, eh? Oh, it is a function. And it, okay, must return the payload. Okay, so message passing seems to still work. That just makes it more consistent to use types instead of spreading the channel everywhere. So our exposure is really just to signalHub as the signalHub. Space broker does that. And now, what about all the behavior subjects? So subject, new subject. What about all of these? Member manager. This is telling you that you have some member states updated. State, join. Member manager. I feel like if we're going to make these observables available to others, then they need to be on signalHub. So presence diff doesn't really need to be an observable because you only really get it once when people log in, and it's probably better if you spread them out into a message where you get the presence diff. Presence diff. Present state. No one is even listening to present state right now. Present state. Member manager, channel on, channel off, present state. What's this being used for? Yeah, just to create this thing. So I feel like this thing doesn't need a channel either. maybe you have some signalHub observables. So local are events, incoming, outgoing, these are events. So incoming is no longer optional, it is an emitter of incoming events. But we can still have observables. Or subjects. Now let's call these observables. And observables can have a type or different kinds in here. So signalHub, observables, and look at space channel again. Space channel, what are we sending out? We're sending out, we're tracking the presence. But really, I'm not positive that you need to track the presence. We basically centralize the useful information into the ETS table. So you get this one that a new member is broadcast, and you push all the previous states and movements. And this is only good for join. We're not even sending the list. This is good for joins and leaves. But we kind of get that when we terminate. We can say somebody left. Well, let's just keep it there for now. But the important ones are new member and members. And do we have that inside broker? We'll have incoming on server lost. Incoming events, we need server lost. And what is it, any? Argument type of string is not assignable key of incoming events. So we can say we don't know what this is. know how to make this happy. Emit incoming type of incoming events. Observables is missing. What do you know? Made it happy. Oh yeah, and then signalHub, we've got the new member and member states. Member, space channel. Put this into where? Put this into broker. No, signalHub. So a new member, something with a member ID, which is a string, pause rot, which is a types pause rot, and a state, which is a types member state. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we got members, which is key, a member ID is a string and type of types member state. Okay, so those are the available incoming messages. So let's see, space manager. Oh, sorry, scene manager subscribes the new member this way. Okay. Yeah, and member manager also subscribes, but in this way. So member manager, signalHub incoming on new member. Do it this way. Subscribe. And members. I don't think that I declared this right. Go back to signalHub. An object. Members is an object with members and their state. That is correct. So then theme manager incoming on object, you subscribe. Member manager over here. Incoming on members, subscribe, and you get, let's do this, states. There you go. Member state updated. Do we have that? Member state updated inside signalHub? We don't. Whoops. So on this channel, we're sending this and member ID and new state. Member ID, new state. The ID string use state is types. State. Benefit is that we can do this now. signalHub incoming on that subscribe to the payload, which now we know the type. we do payload, ID, and state. So I don't think we need our own channel here. So we won't need this. Now listen to member updates. We should. Don't think we need these two. Present state, present diff definitions. So we don't need these two. Why do we need the present set? We're just keeping track of this data as it comes in here. And we could just be streaming that each member. So I feel like we need to not maintain a list here. But maybe listen and then transform this into new observables. We can, let's see, signalHub. You're listening to incoming events. And then you can have some observable for member state change. Be a new subject. Oh, the type of subject. So what type? Right. The type will be, of course, the member ID and the state, which is types member state. And you can have this thing defined again. And new one of these. Subject can be used as value. Oh, okay, so now we have a member state change as an observable. Aren't these all observables? You just have a local. I think they're all observables. So it's an incoming member state updated. Which comes from the channel when somebody turns on a mic or whatever. But if you get a new member, you get this, and if you just join, you get all of this. So what if you just pipe this into this? You'll get new members. Everybody else gets a new member. I don't like doing that because it kind of gets confusing. I'd rather combine all these so you get presence diff is what you listen for when things are removed. Presence state doesn't really tell you anything except that they're there, but that we get that from members and new member and updates. So really, if you just combine the last three and presence diff, you can combine that into a new observable that is local called what? Member state. which is a member ID, which is a string, and either operation, which is new or updated or moved, and the state, which is types member state. So we transform an incoming one into a local one. We don't need this because they're all observables. And we can just set this up here. So signalHub dot incoming on new members. All right, so new member. So let's call this const new member. Members member state updated. And presence diff. We've got these things. We don't need to combine them, just change them into different messages, right? So anytime you get a new member, that's easy. New member, you'll do subscribe, and you get the, of course, the member ID and the state. Let me do something with that. Wrap this like so. And you'll do signalHub local emit member state, and the data will be member ID, and the state and the op will be new. So anytime somebody else joins, you'll get that. And how about members? Members, just iterate through them. So you get states and object entities, entries, and states. So you'll do for I forgot how to do this, object entries. we'll do again this. Now members, yeah, again, only comes down when it's new. So like that. And then you get state updated. Subscribe to the member ID and the state. I think it's called new state. Sure. And just do this. And this is updated. Finally, presence diff, we need to know when to remove it. So leaves object and trees leaves for each wait. No, it just has the member ID and some meta. Meta stuff that we don't care about. So here we'll just do what? Emit the same thing. Leave off the state. And say removed. If you can make state optional or just state is no. And now we have a pretty good signal whenever something about this member has changed, the states at least. So if we go back to the member manager, I don't know that we need this. We were maintaining a list for what though? Now we have a signal, so we can go maybe remove member manager. If we need a list in order to display information, I think we can maintain it in scene manager as well, or an avatar manager. Yeah, so which we made it signal centric. So let's delete this one, member manager. Don't have that. Where was new member manager? Only here. So we don't have this now. And no member manager here. And no member manager here. Okay. The WebRTC Manager was relying on some things from member manager in order to count the stuff. So we're going to listen to something else this time. So remember, our join condition is simply this. So signalHub local on member state, and we'll subscribe. Well, first we'll pipe, and then we'll scan. So scan takes any of these things in an accumulator. So a previous type of this thing rxjs scan. Okay. Accumulator, current value, return new accumulator, and then original accumulator value. So we got the accumulator value doing something and the new original accumulator, which should be something like unmute count member count. And in here we need to return, so this becomes that and value becomes this. Okay, so we want to look at the operation. So okay, basically if value dot op is equal to removed, then you need to deduct member count. Equal. Okay, if removed, and if they were muted or unmuted, so if value dot state dot mic preference was on, something like that. So I guess you could just mutate. So here, removed means accumulator dot member count equal accumulator member count minus 1. And what can you do? Minus equal 1. I think that works in JavaScript, right? Check it. A equal 5, a minus equal 1. Yeah, that works. And if it was on when it was being removed, actually, we don't know what the state is here. The state is null. So we actually can't just count these values. We have to look at we have to have a running total here. And then, yeah, that's what we needed the member whatever for. But we could do it here. Let's take a break. I'm getting tired.